some of these provisions, because there was a provision which talks about the appointment of the board members and the managing directors. And we have most critical clauses which definitely needs to be looked at very well. But then I appreciate that it's our committee that all the members unanimously agree that this was a great job. But then it is important for us to look at them very well and ensure that we put up a law that is progressive, a law that is going to help our country, that is going to eradicate corruption, that is going to strengthen corporate governance to ensure that there is little or no political interference when it comes to the management of the state-owned enterprise. That's my contribution as an independent member from my constituency, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Member for Kiang West. May I now call on the mover of the report to respond if there are any, and to wind up the debate.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I know we only have an issue that has been raised by the member for Brikama North and the minority leader with respect to Clause 121 in the consideration where we said the committee was in agreement. I think this was an error, it was an oversight. We find it difficult. It should be the ministry. So that is agreed, it's noted, it's a typographical error. And it's going to be changed. May I seize this opportunity to thank the entire National Assembly member for giving us the support. I know this has been a tremendous job. We have convened, we've been dealing, it was very vigorous. Like, if you look at the number of witnesses that have been invited, up to 157 people. And it was not an easy job. There are areas whereby all of them have a different perspective with regards to individual clauses. We look at the progressiveness of these clauses. It was not easy, but it was a learning moment for us because these are sector experts, because we have invited individual sector experts and even the PEs themselves. So to go through the bill, and they gave us some position papers. Some of the decisions that we arrived here, it was not easy. It was highly contentious for us to agree. And in fact, some of the provisions have been sent to the Ministry of Justice to redraft them. So we know it was very vigorous. We cannot be 100% perfect, but I know we did. This is our baby, and we have did a lot so that we can accordingly inform the plenary to help us, especially if we go into the committee of consideration. All the recommendations have been captured and is with us. I know this is going, when we go to the committee of consideration, I think the way you did here is going to be easy for us to easily pass this thing. Because one thing that is important, the state-owned enterprises, especially the 13 of this thing, constitute a serious debt burden on the government. And we believe they should be viable so that they can help us constituting, even if they can have constitute up to 60% of our economy. They are important. But the core mandate, you keep on bailing them down, bailing them out, contracting loan on their behalf. These are issues that really affect them. Their core mandate of paying dividend is a major problem. But thank God, even the 2023 budget, we have 360 million that is coming as a dividend from the state-owned enterprise. Primarily coming from the central bank, 150 million. You have GPA, 100 million, and GNPC, 10 million. So if you add, it's 360 million that they are contributing. And in fact, with the passing of this bill, there is going to be a dividend policy that you must perform. And this performance contract that has been going on, and almost all of them are going to sign the performance contract. So I believe we need to help them, to put them on a firm footing, to make sure that the purpose of their establishment, pay dividend to the citizenry. So on that note, I thank you for your cooperation and encouragement. So I want to believe that if we add the committee of consideration, that is going to be on the 20th, you are going to comply as usual. Remember, this information, we gather it from sector experts who are overwhelmed with a lot of experience. So even us, we learn a lot. And I believe you will also learn among us. On that note, I thank you. I thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Member and Chair of the committee. and thank all other members who contributed to this all-important report. Be it resolved that this Honorable Assembly do adopt the report of the Standing Committee on Public Enterprises on the State-Owned Enterprises Bill 2022. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Thank you. Laying of papers and reports. Report of the National Assembly Select Committee on Tourism, Arts and Culture, Youth and Sport, countrywide visit to sporting facilities and tourist sites 2022 by the Honorable Chairperson of the committee.
Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to present the report on behalf of the Select Committee. The report of the Select Committee on Tourism, Arts and Culture, Youth and Sports on the visit to sporting facilities and tourism sites across the country from the 17th to the 25th October 2022. Going through the report, looking at the contents, well, I believe all of you have the copies. So looking at the contents, you go to acknowledgement. The Honourable Members of the Select Committee on Tourism, Arts, Culture, Youth and Sport wish to express their profound appreciation for the warm reception accorded to the team by all officials during the oversight visit. We thank the Ministries of Tourism, Arts, Tourism and Culture, Youth and Sport, and all the tour guides we met during the visit. We extend our sincere appreciation to the Office of the Clerk for the support and the staff of the National Assembly in facilitating this engagement. Looking at the membership, that's the members of the committee. We have 7 members who was on this tour, and there are other 5 members who were absent based on reasons. And the members who were absent based on reasons was an oversight. It doesn't reflect on the report, but I can easily go through them. That is Honorable 𝒕𝒉𝒂𝒏𝒏𝒆𝒍, that is Deputy Speaker, who is a member of this Select Committee. Honorable Alhaji S. Dabo, the Minority Leader, who is also a member of this committee. Honorable Maimuna Sise is a member of this committee. Honorable Hassan Toure is a member of this committee. Honorable Seni Jawara is also a member of this committee. But on unforeseen circumstances, they could not make it to this trip. The support staff also, you have them, and there was one omission, that is the Deputy Permanent Secretary, that is Lamin A. Kamara, who was also with the team on this tour visit. The introduction. The Select Committee on Tourism, Arts, Culture, Youth and Sport conducted a 9-day visit to selected sport facilities and tourism centers to get first-hand information on the grounds at both the level of the facilities and also to understand the status of the damage at these cultural heritages and facilities. The purpose of the visit is in fulfillment with the committee's statutory mandate in accordance with Section 109, Section 2B of the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia and Clause 97(1) and 2B of the revised standing order of the National Assembly to perform oversight on the institutions under the purview. The tour groups comprises of the honourable members of the committee, support staff, officials from the 2 ministries, and tour guides working for NCAC. You have the objectives. The overall objectives of the tour was to gather first-hand information and facts on all sectors and facilitate under the preview to better understand issues in addressing the challenges faced by them. The methodologies used during the tour was for observations, site visits and inspections, photography and question and answers. Looking at the report, without wasting a lot of time, I will go region by region and certain main areas which I will highlight. The reports are before you. Looking at Fort Bullen, which is a very critical area because it tells you much about the historical heritage of our ancestors. The committee commenced the tour at Fort Bullen in Bara, Lower Nyomi North Bank region. In his statement, the chairman of the committee informed the officials of the site that the committee is on a countrywide tour on tourism sites and sporting facilities. The visit by the committee will guide it to establish first-hand information on the activities, the achievements, challenges, and way forward for more viability of these sites and facilities. Salma Sar, a tour guide on her part, indicated that Fort Bullen was built in 1826 by the British colony. It is named after the then governor of the region, Charles Bullen. It was purposefully built to monitor the illegal boats that were transporting slaves as it was abolished by then. The fort is also connected to the James Island historically, and this makes it very important for tourists to visit to establish the history about the slavery. It was also used by soldiers during the Second World War. According to her, there are 12 tour guides operating at the Fort Bullen. In shift, these guides are officially trained by the NCAC to take tourists around the sites and guide them professionally. She also informed the committee that the sites is being guided. The site is being renovated, but they are very careful of not to tamper with the original structures. She further indicated that the site is threatened by the ozone, and the NCAC and the Ministry of Tourism should work together and create a sea defense in order to protect the original structures of the Fort Bullen. There is also a museum in the site, but it is currently under renovation, and all the items are placed in a store until after this process. At this point, the committee intervened with some questions as follows. What is the relationship between the NCAC and the Fort Bullen staffs? According to Ms. Sar, the NCAC is organizing capacity building for the tour guides, and it also facilitates exchange visit with other sister sites. Example, Wasu Stone Circle. Number two, the committee was interested to know whether the tour guides are motivated financially by the NCAC. According to the tour guides, there is no financial motivation for them. They only receive tips from visiting tourists sometimes. Page 3, we have the challenges. No financial motivation for the tour guides. There are less activities in the fort, and this discourages tour operators to bring tourists to the sites. Sometimes, if they bring tourists to the site, they do not spend enough time to know all that they're supposed to know about the site. The tour guides in these sites are not registered with the National Tourism Guides Association. This limits the activities of the tour guides to few tourist sites and in the country. There was also a recommendation based on these challenges. The sites should be upgraded to attract more visitors all year round to create more revenue and employment for the community. There should be some financial incentives for the tour guides. 3, the tour guides should register with the National Tourist Guides Association. 4, there should be more training on both new and existing products and services as the sector is dynamic. You have Barra Lodge. You can go to Albreda, which is very important for members also to know. that is Albreda Jufre 𝒂𝒂𝒃𝒃 Island. The committee was welcomed by the officials of the routes. The chairperson of the committee informed the officials that the essence of this visit is to establish first-hand information on the operations or activities, the achievements, challenges, and also way forward for the tourist destinations. On his part, the PRO of the tour guides informed the committee that this tourist destination is currently operated by 4 staffs and 10 tour guides. Tourists are usually welcome to the reception of the destination. They are briefed about the history of the place before visiting the 𝒂𝒂𝒃𝒃 Island. As the engagement in this destination, tourist tickets cost $200 and this is also the NCAC also costs $200 for the community fee. The 𝒂𝒃𝒃 family at the end of each year have share from this money. That is the NCAC, they will charge $200, and that is for the NCAC, another $200 for the community. At the end of every year, from this subvention or charges they charge, is where they will pay the tour guides. Is where also they will also pay the 2 alcalos from Jufre and Albreda, and also try to see where they can adjust based on their facilities they have within the premises. The tour guides are also paid salaries from these revenues during the tourist season. During the COVID-19 period, the tour guides were not paid salaries, but rather paid honorarium or allowances every 4 or 5 months, which was also an issue and frustrating. The 𝒂𝒃𝒃𝒃 Island, according to tour guides, the 𝒂𝒃𝒃𝒃 Island is 3.5 kilometers away from Jufre Albreda community. It is 300 kilometers away from the mouth of the River Gambia. More than half of the island is already lost to the ozone, according to the guides. The site is also officially recognized as a World Heritage Site by the UNESCO. This island during the slaves trade was the point where all slaves around the Gambia were gathered for 2 to 3 weeks before finally transported to the west. Slaves were inhumanly treated in the island during their stay there before being transported. Discussions. 1. How many tourists do you receive during this period or during the tourist period? According to the guides, they receive on average 50 visitors per day. When the cruise boats were operational from Banjul, we used to receive about 100 tourists per day during peak periods. 2. How are the revenue collected, spent? The tour guides are paid from these funds. The 𝒂𝒃𝒃𝒃 family do have a share from this fund, and at the end of this season, the 2 alcalos are also paid from this fund. Page 5. Paid from this one monthly from the funds, and part of this money is plunged back to the community. That is other development areas which they feel is necessary to be adjusted. Number 3, any plans to employ more tour guides from the community? According to the PRO of the tour guides, they are thinking along that line, but this must correspond with the activities in the tourist destination. Number 4, who collects these funds and who manages it? Because we are looking at the financial discipline at that site. The fund is collected by a staff of the NCAC, and it is managed by the Jufre and Albreda Youth Society, that is the J's. You call them J's. The achievements, the NCAC do provide training for the tour guides to adjust to the needs of tourists. They also face challenges, because wherever success is, there are also challenges. The challenges, one is the jetty and the 𝒂𝒃𝒃𝒃 Island are both fading away, and it needs proper maintenance before it is too late. Two, the lack of cruise boats significantly hampered the number of tourists visiting the island. Many tourists do prefer boat trips from Banjul to visit the island. There is no representative of the GT board in the community of Jufure and Albreda. Those were some of the challenges they highlighted.
Honourable Member, please sit down. Yes, sit down, please.
Let me sit down.
Yeah, Honourable Member, I'm not sure. Your report is very bulky. I'm not sure why you want to choose to read the entire report.
In the entire report, I just selected certain key areas of every region, then present them. But I can also still summarize. When you come to challenge, I can only read one, then the rest people can look at it.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you for the observation. Thank you for the observation. For the recommendations, you have seen the ministry should think in introducing a cruise boat from Banjul to the 𝒂𝒂𝒃 Island. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 recommendations which are highlighted in the report. You have the Kerewan President Award Scheme, that's the PIA. Looking at the PIA, they have about the hairdressing and beauty therapy. You have the fashions, they have mechanic, carpentry, plumbing and workshop. But when we went there, the hairdressing therapy and fashions were functional, which was very impressive. But on the side of the mechanic and other areas, we need to be readjusted or even to rebrand the project, because it doesn't suit the people living around that end. And if you look at the challenges, for some of the female students, if they get married, they quit the institution. This affects the institution as most of the students are female. It is still a challenge that the community do not understand the importance of acquiring the skills. Some of the challenges is what they are facing right now. You go to Shanghai, the GSI, which is an important area on the Ministry of Youth and Sport. Mr. Lamin A. Kamara, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Minister of Youth and Sport, and the focal person of the project, welcomed the committee to Chairman, North Bank Region. Mr. Kamara, in his presentation, gave a brief background of the project and the challenges it's facing. Some of the challenges he mentioned were the human resources and financial resources. And when we went through all around the projects, we find out there were challenges, but also the areas they are interventing or they are performing is that the center provides the following training. That is the agroforestry, the animal production, ruminants, vegetable market garden, crop production, and poultry. These are the 6 the center is providing or training. They have challenges. The challenges is the legal land ownership issue. It's still affecting the site because the ministry is not the youths are not the owner of that land because it has been leased in a family name, which is also affecting the institution for getting funding or subvention from the UN and other institutions. Limited resources and inadequate mobility, because we found out also most of their equipments are down. In fact, it affects even the membership who are there for training because they use a lot of manpower work. At the end of the day, at night they cannot even have their theoretical aspect of it because they'll be fatigued. And in fact, it leads to some of them even to run away and go back home without even completing their course, which is also very important. The recommendation is to track the graduates to help them to know how many of them succeeded and those that do not. To continue giving the startup capital to the graduates to help them after completing their training. We went to the Farafenni Youth Center. That one also is serious because The youths were given some support from NGOs or other philanthropists. They gave the contractor the money, and the contractor started the job. He was paid his money, and it is still at standstill where it is. You have Kauru Mini Stadium, the Kauru Youth Center, the 𝒘𝒄𝒄𝒏𝒆𝒍 Stone Circle. You have the 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒏𝒆𝒍 Stone Circle. According to the site manager, because the 𝒂𝒄𝒄 and the 𝒘𝒄𝒄𝒏𝒆𝒍 they are the same. According to the site manager, this stone circle is recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Center. This is also because of the unique stone recognized as the tallest at 2.9 meters. The site has a museum and some offices. Currently, there are 4 staffs in the site and some tour guides. NCAC have trained some youths in the community who are serving as tour guides. Schools within the community are also engaged on the activities of this site. The president of the Senegambia Tour Guides Association informed the committee that more training are needed for both the full-time staffs and the tour guides. The involvement of the community more should be a priority as the engineers who can take ownership of the site. They should be engaged more to know the history and the activities of the place. We visited the 𝒂𝒄 Skill Center, the Mango Park, and the Janjambure Youth Center. Looking at the Janjambure Youth Center, the chairman of the committee thanked the officials of the center for the welcome. He indicated that the committee is on a tour and the tourism, youth sports facilities around the country. The committee is mandated to perform oversight on all institutions under the purview of the ministries of tourism, youth and sport and culture. In this regard, the committee wanted to establish first-hand information, achievements, challenges, and provide way forward. In the center, the facilities they have there, they have a resource center, a computer lab, accommodation, hall, video club, restaurant, tourism information center. A representative on behalf of the Tour Guides Association informed the committee that the Janjambure is tourist destination. The association consists of 30 young people and it is locally registered. Members of the associations are all trained on tourist guiding. Tourists visit the island through tour operators who do not or do directly booking with us. Some of the challenges of the associations are the National Association of Tourist Guides do not want to cooperate with the Janjambure tour guides when they visit the island. That is, they do not surrender tourists to the local guides who are vast with the history of the town. The Janjambure Tourist Guide Association, after their training on tourist guides, applied for license, and now for more than a year, these licenses are not being issued up to now. That's the concern to them, because they are not even recognized. That's why when tour guides travel with tourists to Janjambure, they refuse to hand over those tourists to the local guides. That's an issue to them, and it's a problem. It needs to be addressed. You have the Flavium also is, I think, looking at the past reports here from the minister. Those are some of the projects which was being sponsored by the ministry, and some of them are failed one because the contractors were given these monies and still now they could not deliver. And we engaged the minister. By then he said they have taken decision because they have engaged the contractor several times, and he still now is adamant to completing the project, and they have forwarded a matter to the Minister of Justice for an advice. And I think presently they are about to forward the matter to the courts for arbitration. Bansan Youth Center. They have challenges, and also you go to Diabugu Mini Stadium. The chairman of the committee, those are the introductions. On his part, the district sport committee thanked both the select committee and the ministry for the visit on the state of the project and for the construction of a mini stadium in their community. Respectively, he stated that the size of the facility is 210 meters and the initial contract duration was 6 months. But some of the facilities to be embedded in the facilities are a perimeter fence, offices, basketball and volleyball courts, a fence for the pitch. A backfilling of the pitch and planting of the natural Bahama grass, a borehole and a water solar. They are facing challenges. The community requested a copy of the contract document but could not receive it till now. A ticket selling point at the gates of the perimeter fence, lack of electricity within the facility, the main gates are not properly fixed. On his part, the DPS of the Ministry of Youth and Sport informed the committee that the project cost is $9.8 million, and this project is the second most expensive project the ministry is currently executing. He informed the committee it's not yet completed, and most of the issues raised by the community will be addressed if the project is completed. The chairman of the committee reassured the community of Diabugu that they will play their part to see that the project is completed as agreed. You go to Basse Youth Center, Basse Mini Stadium. They have some challenges. That is the inadequate finance for proper maintenance of the mini stadium. The dressing room are all dilapidated. Poor state of the pitch. The basketball is not working. Mobility, lack of security service. The field is eroded, and the soil texture is not favorable to be used as a football field. The recommendation was to construction of a standard football field with pavilions and dressing rooms, and provision of security. We went to also the Basse Cotton Weaves. That is also part of under the Ministry of Tourism. During the visit, we were able to interact with them, and the discussion was centered on, we discussed, and they said during the discussion, the committee find out the inadequate cotton trade, because those were the challenges they were forwarding to us. The association is not registered. They have no permanent place to stay. Marketing of their product is also a challenge, because when they prepare them, they always leave them lying down there. At times, even to get another phone to go and buy for other raw material to weed is a problem also. So those were their concerns. We also make some recommendations. A permanent place which includes a production center and a showroom, financial support to be provided by the Ministry of Tourism and Culture. Motivation, the traditional skill needs to be preserved, because that's the only traditional dress which we know is our own. The Sotuma Samba ecology. These are one of the ecologies which the tourism was constructing throughout the country. The committee visited the Sotuma Samba ecology, which is also among the 5 ecologies being constructed by the Gambia Tourism Board, GT Board. The lodge have 12 rooms, and the contractor is awarded to Lair Group. The committee also find out that the construction is ongoing, meaning the contract is not yet completed after the expiration of the contract duration. We went there, the contract duration elapsed, but we find out the job was ongoing, and at least the person we found there, he promised that they will complete the project, though they failed the target time, but they will also implement as they agreed based on the contract. We went to Sowa Mini Stadium, the same constraints. Pakalinding, Youth Center. We went to Tendaba Camp and the Manduar Mini Stadium, which is also part of the stadiums which the ministry was also constructing. The Manduar Mini Stadium. The committee was received by the Julafar Ward Executive, Mr. Omar N.K. Bajinka. The Secretary General of the Association gave a brief background on the formation of the association. He said it was an initiative from the 22 communities under the Julafar Ward. And after the successful formation of the association, they deemed it necessary to meet with their elders to formalize requests for a land where they can use as a main field to play their tournaments and other sporting facilities. The elders grant them with 300 by 300 land sites. The association then approached the Ministry of Youth and Sport to help them with the mini stadium, which the minister promised and later fulfilled the funding. The association also informed the committee that since 1965, the mini stadium is the only project Kiang West ever benefited from the government. The alternative pitch they have is an open field which has no source of income for the association. They only depend on their brothers and sisters in the diaspora to fund their sporting activities. The committee, that is the contract, the committee also engaged the contractor, that is the contractor Bala Engineer, informed the committee that the total amount of the project was $7.9 million. He started the work since 2019. According to him, he submitted a master plan which includes all the relevant facilities that the stadium could have to the Ministry of Youth and Sport. However, the contract awarded to him only covers the field and a dressing room with toilets. The contract duration was 8 months, but according to him, he was having some problems with water and the place was busy. He informed the committee that he even went further in clearing the place, which was not part of the contract. He told the members that everything is finished except the grassing of the field, which is due to lack of water. Mr. Fabakar Sane thanked the committee for creating time and giving them the opportunity to share ideas regarding sport developments. He also thanked the Julafar Ward Association for the great work they are doing in developing sports within their area. But in as much they have these facilities, they also facing some challenges, that is inadequate financing, no office, no furniture in the premises, no pavilion, the perimeter fence is shut, volleyball and basketball ground is not being constructed, and the wrestling ground. We went to Kiang West National Park. Now we went to the Independence Stadium, which is a national concern, because as you know, presently we cannot host any international match at the Independence Stadium due to the dilapidated or bad condition of the stadium, which is also affecting some other countries. We went and we were received by the general manager, that is Mr. Ibu Fai. In his deliberation, he informed the committee that the stadium is the only stadium that can host international matches in the whole country. And since its inception, it was never gone under any major maintenance. The stadium was built in 1982 and has 87 staffs. The total budget for the stadium is $9 million every year, covering both salaries, operation, and development. But the stadium never received the whole $9 million subvention which is allocated to them. He informed the committee that the stadium is banned from hosting international matches due to its poor condition, and after some consultation with the page 29 with the government, they were given $10 million to renovate some of the facilities to meet up with the FIFA standard as per their recommendation. They also have a hotel which has its own manager but under the supervision of this general manager of the stadium. As at now, the hotel is the only source of revenue they have for the stadium. Mr. Fai also told the committee that they have once requested 35 million from the government to renovate the hotel and make it a 3-star hotel. But this request has never been granted, and they believe that if they invest the 35 million in the hotel, it will save them from all the financial constraints they are facing. They are also constructing a Bella Arena for musical and other festivals. The challenges he put across was inadequate financial support, lack of general rehabilitation of the stadium. They have no wrestling ground and its sustainability. There was also some recommendation based on the challenges. The recommendations were general rehabilitations of the stadium. The government should support them with the 35 million to renovate the hotel to a 3-star hotel. You look at the KMC mini stadiums, that is Bakau, East, West, Banyai, and Central. The challenges are more or less the same because they are of the same nature. Because looking at the challenges across, some of them were facing with financial support. They don't have proper pavilions. And also, some of the stadiums were not multi-purpose stadiums because you cannot use them for any other track or whatever. So, more or less, they are all the same, facing the same constraints or challenges. We went to the football hotel and that's the training center in Olyundu. No, it's problem. From the football hotel, we were received by the manager of the hotel, that is Lamin Sane. The hotel manager briefed the committee on the core functions of the hotel. The committee was informed that the hotel was initiated in 2014 under the leadership of 𝒂𝒏𝒔, the president of the Gambia Football Federation. The hotel is semi-autonomous and has 40 standard rooms, administrative block, conference room, gymnasium room, playing field with artificial turf and a swimming pool, which is still under construction at the time of the visit. The hotel is classified as a 3-star hotel, but now is being upgraded, which is run by a management team appointed by the Federation. The hotel provides accommodation and services to the national team and hosts meetings and retreats. Under the National Technical Training Center, which is run by the technical director and the youth and grassroots football manager, used for training of young talents under 15 to accommodate the national team during training sessions and some of the league matches. And he also makes some challenges. The challenges were inadequate funding for expansion of the hotel, including the conference center and the hall. The recommendation was to upgrade the standard of the hotel so that they can have a proper conference center and a hall. We went to Brikama Mini Stadium. Brikama Mini Stadium, the committee there took us through based on their activities, and also they were faced with some challenges. The challenges were almost about 6, and some of them are similar to the parks. That is inadequate pavilion, low infrastructure development, inadequate financial support, lack of drainage system, no standard lighting system, and they also have a land ownership issue. Because I think if Honorable Brikama South or Honorable Brikama North can attest to that, that is still ongoing in Brikama, and I think it needs to be looked at so that it can be addressed. Because the Brikama, I don't know, Bolonda, I don't know what, they are claiming the football field belongs to them, and they should, in fact, be benefiting proceeds from that field, which they are still looking at their level, at their community level, and see how best they can address it. So we went to Gunjur, the Gunjur Stadium also. It is also a GFF project, which is about $9 million, and the project started since 2019, and the contract was meant for only 6 months, but the work is incomplete. The full package of the project was a field, a pavilion, a dressing room. Mr. 𝒂𝒏𝒏𝒔 informed the committee that the Gunjur Sport Committee have no idea about how the project or the contract look like. They have no access to the contract documents. We went to Tanje Eco Lodge. The committee was received by Mr. Zakaria Sow, the owner of the Eco Lodge. Mr. Sow expressed his appreciation and thanked the committee for being the first delegate from the government to visit him since the inception of his Eco Lodge. The Tanje Eco Lodge is a private-owned Eco Lodge owned by a Gambian. The facilities has 8 rooms, 7 staff, and a conference center with a capacity of 60 people. Mr. Sow informed the committee that he has 2 Eco Lodges and both are registered with the GT board. The second Eco Lodge is located at Fonyi Block, West Coast region, and due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Block Eco Lodge have not. He also informed the committee that he has never been visited, neither get support from GT board and the Ministry of Tourism and Culture. Mr. Sow informed the committee that the land is owned by the people of Brufut, Madiana, and Tangi, and after every year, a percentage is paid into their account as per their agreement. He was also faced with some challenges, as he said. They have a water and electricity supply challenge, lack of security. He encountered a lot of theft cases, inadequate human resources, inadequate financial support, lack of support from the government. Sukuta Dembadu, that is their mini stadium. All these mini stadiums, their problems or challenges are uniform. So that is financial, water, lighting, and other things. They are the same. It is indicated in the report there. So we also have a broad recommendation. The broad recommendation was funding on the preservation and rehabilitation of our cultural sites, to subvent all regional youth and sport committees. The sector developed a tourism countrywide calendar of events and leverage on the 182 historical and cultural sites for the development of cultural tourism. The investment of ecotourism can be in the line with government policies that a domestic tourism policy should be in place in consultation with the respective stakeholders. Again, in addition, we have extra 2, that is the Ministry of Youth and Sport, to put up strategies in building a second national stadium with a bigger capacity with Olympic tracks lanes. The other one, 3 also, the Ministry of Youth and Sport, to put up a strategy in building regional mini stadium throughout the regions with Olympic track lanes. So those are part of the recommendations we put forward, so that at least the demand on the national stadium will reduce. We can also take some of our international matches to other regions where at least it will also contribute some revenue for those regions. So in conclusion, Honorable Speaker, the tourism and culture sites are facing serious challenges due to the inadequate funding and support from the relevant authorities. We need to find solutions to challenges and ensure that the tourism industry strives to meet standards. The committee also noted with concerns that the development of youth and sport are facing serious financial constraints both in the areas of infrastructural development, governance, management, and ownership of land problems that needs to be addressed as soon as possible. We know that with the intervention and support from the government and other relevant authorities and stakeholders, the problems highlighted above can be addressed. In looking at this conclusion, even during the budget retreat, the committee was able to at least try to allocate some funds so that at least all the regional committees, because since the inception of these regional committees, both the youth and the sport, they have never received any subvention from the government or the ministry, so that at least they can conduct their activities and do their capacity buildings. So during the budget retreat, the committee was able to allocate some funds so that at least the ministry can subvent some of the regions. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I to my seat.
Thank you, Member for Bakau, Member for Basse, and Chairman of the committee. Any seconder? The member for Lower Salum.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion, and again, I want to take part on the debate. Honorable Speaker, I will just go direct to the conclusions and what I have read in their report. I'm a member, but unfortunately, I was not around when they were going for this tour because it was coincided with the monitoring committee tour. So I decided to go to one of these committees. That's the monitoring. Honorable Speaker, on his conclusions, if you want me to read, the second paragraph, the committee also noted with concern that the development of youth and sports are facing serious financial constraints, both in the area of infrastructure development, governance, management, and ownerships of lands problems. That needs to be addressed as soon as possible. Honorable Speaker, if the chairman and the member of Basse, the essence of this report to bring solutions and address problems. The case of Songhai, that's mixed families in Farafenye, that was a parliamentary question that I bring in this parliament, but they have already stopped at the challenges, that's land problem. We have not been to this land, and there was not adequate inquiry on this land, whereby we can tackle the problems. And for me, I myself, I was the very one who make a parliamentary question on this issue. But the feedback that I have from the local governance, that's land, Minister of Land, that the land was meant for the one family, which I will not call a name. That family, they in fact called me about this land issue. But to my surprise, still now I have seen this land problem, and which was compensated by the Ministry of Local Government and Youth, Minister of Youth, collaborating with Minister of Youth, that they have already compensated them with a land. And again, Honorable Speaker, we know these lands are inherited by the Breed family, but also there is a project going on, which also the ministry also has to furnish me about it. 6 million is given by the donation by help me please. UNDP. They are giving $6 million, and they said if the UNDP realize that this land is not owned by the government, they must stop the project. And the project is helping the Gambian youth to get skills. Honorable Speaker, if I was the chairman, they could have also linked the Ministry of Lands to furnish them on this issue before we table it, because already the media will pick it up, and again there will be more noise on this issue. Honorable Speaker, the issue of cow, I have been fighting this issue. There's no mini stadium. You cannot call it a mini stadium because they said there are constraints of funding, and all these projects, there are monies there, but none of these projects are finished still now. Then they are not constrained of funding, because where 9.8 million is paid, 80% of the money is paid, and still now the project is incomplete. Then you go to Kaur and the minister, the money that was paid, still now there are pending money that are yet to deliver to that was since in 2014 or 2013. Still now the minister is that they just make a fence with goal posts, with basket loan, which even I myself can do that. Honorable Speaker, you know, as in National Assembly, the reason why we are going for oversight, things that are not happening, we make it to happen, because we cannot just bring a report, we pass it and it stops here. Many of us, what I experienced, the last 5 years, we make recommendations here, but we stop. We ended for today. There are monies in this country, and there are projects. And normally, if these projects comes in, they will invest all this money, and at the end of the day, there will be no impact. The project will be not finished. They will eat all the monies, or they mishandle all the monies. Honorable Speaker, we as National Assembly members, we have to make a stop on these issues, because project cannot come for our people. Just a minority group used to invest that monies in their own selfish interests. Honorable Speaker, the issue of Kaur Youth Center, the community were not involved, and where it is built is in the furrows. This is why you can have access to the center, because you are bringing a project to a community. Just for the sake of bringing the project, you just go and put it there. I never knew this project. When the day of the opening, they called me and said, I'm not going. I said, I'm not going. They asked me to go and represent the people. I said, I'm not going. And when this project was finished, and they spent monies there, and how those monies are spent, even there's a coxon the committee are talking about. We have to go away on these issues. Let's be together and develop this country. This country is ours. We cannot just look on people's eyes. We said we will not say the truth. One day or the other, we all accountable being in this office. Let's do the right thing. As honorable members, at the end of the day, you should even pass a resolution to stop police. Because if now you pay 80% of the monies to a project, and still now the project is just there as it is, what's the essence of now looking for a legal advice? And before a contract is signed, the termination of a contract is always listed there. Go there, go back to the drawing board. Because what you ask him to do, he is not doing it. They terminate it. But they will not do it, because the reason why, where the outing of the contract, the first of outing of the contract, they don't take the right procedures. One, you can see the qualified people, but you just choosing somebody because of you will give him a tip, because you are giving something on that project that basically will make you not to make a monitor on that project. Now you paid 80%. Now where is the ministry who are giving those monitoring to monitor that project? Where are they? Then something is wrong somewhere else. And which we are going to say is all about we have to be very we are doing food for our people. You can't be taxed for a job or an office. You just try to secure yourself. None of this project will go the entire country. None of this project is fulfilled. And none of this project is expected from the development partners or from the ministries. And they will never say anything. But you contact somebody, he's not doing good. Stop him or her. But then the fundamental wrong is where they award the contract. They only award contract with their friends or families or the person that you can do those dubious acts. That we should stop, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, the issue of the Songhai should be well addressed, whereby the family and the family will be compensated and the projects will be progressed. Honorable Speaker, the issue of the stadium is also a problem. A country that now we will use our international matches to other countries, that's a sin on us as a country. In fact, it should not be even one stadium in our country. The one that they asked to renovate, still now, because it was 6 months. That was agreed. Now it's how many months? And this money, in fact, is not paid accordingly. Honorable Speaker, we have to be firm on what we are doing. And we avoid things that are happening that I will not use a word, because if I will use it, it's all about this corruption. We stop this thing. Our country, nothing makes this country going backward. It's because of this corruption. If you are taking an office, at the end of the 1 year, 2 years, you start building story buildings. We have to look at ourselves and be for our people. That being the case, Honorable Speaker, I will rest my case here. Thank you very much for giving me the floor.
Thank you, Member for Lower Salum, for seconding the report. May I now put the question. It has been moved and seconded that this Honorable Assembly do consider the report of the National Assembly Select Committee on Tourism, Arts and Culture and Sports, on youth, on tourism, arts and culture, and youth and sports countrywide visit to sporting facilities and tourist sites 2022. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Any honorable member who wishes to take part in the debate may do so now. The honorable member for Combo South.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me join my colleagues to thank the committee for the report, and also to start from where my right honorable member for Lower Salum ended his deliberations. Honorable Speaker, I think it is about time that we look at the issue of contracts in this country. Contracts are being awarded to contractors, agencies, and other people in this country, and the deadlines are missed. All from the report, all the projects that they visited, there is a failure in all the contracts that were signed. And I think, as alluded to by the right honorable member from Lower Salum, the committee's recommendations should be very direct to the point and get the bull by the horn, and then call all those people who are culprits to answer to the National Assembly and we make a decision. These are national budgets that are appropriated in this National Assembly, and then when they are given, they are supposed to be given in the right procedures, and they need to follow all the channels before the contracts are awarded. I've seen in one of your sections where you have said GPPA have given all the recommendations and now they are looking for funds. How can GPPA recommend the procedures for the intervention of a project and you now want to go back and look for funds? What kind of contract is that contract? Honorable Speaker, I want to go back to the reports that's dealing with some of the things that they have found when they visited these tourist sites, especially when they went to Jufre Albreda, the Kunta Kinte, the James Island. You know, I think all these things, there need to be coordination and proper management of these entities so that they are well managed and will be able to have sustainability and ensuring that all the funds that are collected there are put into right use. Because if an institution as the National Council for Arts and Culture is collecting funds and you are not told how those funds are accounted for and what happens to those funds, who is responsible for the collection and where are they deposited, it is going to be difficult to be able to maintain those sites that you are talking about. Looking at your report, you talked about the issue of the training center in the President's International Skiing Training Center in the North Bank region. I think we need to start disaggregating our reports so that we are able to know the number of students intakes within the North Bank region, the number of boys, the number of girls, and from which districts are they from, so that you know how these projects are impacting on the lives of our young people. We need to be able to have those structures and to be able to enrich our report that will help us in our planning session. And then when we come here, then we will be able to have an idea as to what we need to do to enable us to support these departments and agencies to implement their programs as per their terms of reference. Honorable Speaker, I think all these contractors have defaulted who were given contracts to build this ministry across the region. Way back 4 years ago in 2019, most of these projects were signed, including the one in my own constituency, Gunjur. That contract that football field had been given to 3 different contractors, and now they cannot even tell us or the sports committee what is happening to the last contractor that they have contracted. And I think I want to urge all committees that when we are going out for our oversight visits, let us invite all the players to be on the ground where we are going to visit, so that these contractors should be on the ground when you are posing questions to the beneficiaries, and those who are there, they should be able to give you highlights of their programs and the schedules that they have agreed with those who have contracted them. But if the contractors are not on the ground, we are only going to assume what is being told from those we were able to have the dialogue with. So I think, Honorable Speaker, henceforth, all committees, the director of committees should help and also ensure that all stakeholders that are supposed to be on the ground during our oversight visits are there to answer questions and to furnish the committee so that it helps us to enrich our reports and enable us to be able to do the work that we need to do to make sure that our funds that are allocated to the ministries, departments, and agencies are put into good use. Honorable Speaker, if you look at some of the reasons that are advanced for the failure of the programs at the regional level, at the communities, those are reasons that should not be taken, because these projects are being signed and then money is paid. You cannot give money to contractors and you said you cannot see the contractor now. What is the problem? We need to reinforce and also maybe get to the legal department to help us to be able to review these documents and advise the committees as the next steps that we need to do. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the $10 million is for the renovation of the Independence Stadium. What is the status? Who is the contractor? How long has that money been given? You have been given money that you have not done, and you are asking 3 times that amount. You have not spent the $10 million in the right way. The project cannot be completed, and you want to be given $35 million. Honorable Speaker, I think these are issues that we need to look as a body and as the National Assembly, as the ones who allocate these funds, to be able to take our stand, and then we call these people immediately to come and respond to all the queries and all the shortcomings that are done on this program. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the conclusions, you have said who are the relevant institutions. Come directly to the point. The Ministry of Tourism and Culture is the one who had given the contracts to these contractors. So they should be able to follow these contractors and ensure that they fulfill what has been signed for and make sure that the work is done. If it is not done, then we sought for legal advice and take the necessary steps to ensure that all these funds are recovered. Honorable Speaker, I think all these ministerial that are saying, some of them are football fields. You cannot just have a 100 by 50 or whatever and you call it a ministerial. It doesn't work. You need to have to be able to work those things and make sure that, ensure that all the facilities that are needed, because football is very key and it is one of the determining factors of youth empowerment and ensuring that the economic status of our young people are developed to ensure that they are part of the regional bloc where we can build their skills and help them to be able to create job opportunities for them. So if these amenities are not there, it is going to be futile and a lot of resources have been wasted. I've just on top of the calculations I've done, almost 100 million is gone into this stadium across the country. No work is done. So how are we going to recover those things? Honorable Speaker, and I think I want to suggest that maybe the legal department has to help the committee to come up with very strong resolutions that we need to pass at the National Assembly to ensure that we make follow-ups to get these funds in the right time and ensure that the work are done. If that is not done, 2024, the budget session, all those departments and agencies that are in default, they need to be able to recover these funds, or we will divert their funds to agencies and departments that are ready to do the work to help the vulnerable members of our committee. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I take my seat.
Thank you. I now give the floor to the member for Jara West.
I raised my tag even before Honorable Member for Kombo South. I raised my tag when Honorable Member for Shalom was speaking, so I don't know why.
Honorable, please, please, yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor.
Explanation, Honorable Speaker.
Please, please.
Huh?
Please, Honorable, please, please, please. Honorable Member for Jara West.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me first of all thank my able chairman for this detailed report, and I also want to thank my colleagues, the members of the Tourism and Youth and Sports Committee, our able support staffs, our clerks, all those who are in the team. I thank all of you. It was not easy, but then, thank God, we were able to work hand in glove to see that we cover all the areas that we want to cover. It was a very strong relationship, and the committee, we were one family. Thank you very much, my committee members. Honorable Speaker, just I want to add my voice on with these previous speakers. Honorable Speaker, if things have to continue this way, definitely we will be called a failed National Assembly. So I don't think we have to wait for that to come. We need to act. You go to projects, sites, when you are told the amount of money involved in that project and the level of that project is a disgrace. We are here to represent the large number of the citizens of this country. It's a tax given to us. We should make sure we do something. You go to Fulabandang Mini Stadium. You are told close to 8 million is spent there. When you see a collapsed fence, only the fence. There is no other facility that is built. You go to Janyambure, at least it is better, but not perfect at all. You go to some other areas, it's just serious. I believe now, I don't know these people when they are awarding contracts, what are the procedures taken? But it's high time when you are awarding a contract to somebody, you ask him to bring a collateral. The amount of money you are giving to him or the money involved in that project, let him bring a guarantee, a collateral more than that amount you are awarding him that contract. If he fails, then you have where you keep your money. That should be done. If not, people are just taking these things, let me just spend this money and go. Let's set an example. I said it here yesterday. It cannot be done this way. We need to change that. As all of you said, let's engage all the stakeholders. This is for our people, for us, it is for us. So, people shouldn't joke with it. Again, at the Songhai project in Xiamen, this project, since I've been to that place, every day it is in my mind. I've seen good work there, something that can move this country if it is well taken care of. We need something, many projects like this in all the regions. It can be replicated to all the regions. The right things are done. I believe we'll move forward. And I believe also, we were there not long ago, and then if this land dispute was settled, I think the project manager there will not bring it in our discussion. Or then if he bring it also, he will see how it was settled. But according to him, this is still not settled. The land dispute is there. And it surprised me. We need to change that behavior. If we have land disputes, the right authority is here in the country. All the stakeholders that have hands in that land are here. We shouldn't allow that to escalate to fights. Let's use the relevant authorities to regulate or to settle that dispute in that particular land before it escalates, before we have fights in that. We were told UNDP are ready to put more money in that project, but they said they will not do that unless the dispute is settled. So we are losing. It's going every day. These things should be settled for us to earn our living there. Our youths are doing good there. When they tell you how many crates of eggs they sell a day, you will be convinced. So I believe, as the Right Honorable said, we have to do something about that. Let's call the stakeholders, see what is the level of that situation, of that land. Let's settle it and have what should be there. With the minimum resources they are having, they are doing good. We trekked for almost 1.5 kilometers. We couldn't finish their projects. And wherever you go, you are happy. They are doing good at that side. So if these people should have more of that, they can cater for half of the Gambia, I believe. So let's do something about that. Again, about the subventions of the regional committees in the regions. This should be done. It's high time we start subventing them. They are saying every year they will write and submit to NYC, but then at the end of the budget, they are giving nothing. You go to Soma, we were there. There are youth centers. You see what they do there. The youths are happy. They are working. But then, all those structures there, they will tell you is projects from IMVF, youth empowerment projects. So if those projects phase out, how can we sustain those youth centers and the activities those youths are doing at the regional level? What are the steps that we are going to take to sustain those youth centers? This should be in our plans. We don't expect those projects to be staying forever. But then sustainability, how are we going to sustain those projects? We should look into that. If you go around, you will be happy with the youths, the way they are doing. My members can attest. We were in Soma, when they tell us this is what they earn in their youth centers and all other facilities they are managing there, we were convinced. And we believe if some subventions are also coming, they will be doing more. In Basse, the same thing. In Janjambure, the same thing. In Banzang, the same thing. So it's high time, this subvention of regional committees, we also put it to the national, to the ministry, to the right ministry. Or let's bring that budget. Let's tell them this one is for the youths. Let this go to the youths. We are the one approving the budgets. When they come for bilaterals, let's tell them this one is for the youths. These persons have to go to the youths. They will do it. We have to take things very serious so as to at least help our people. I am seeing also, when the chairman was going over the report, he said 100 million. I believe when we were at the stadium, it's not 10 million. I think the manager of the stadium said 100 million is given to them. Yeah, on the report, it's 10 million. So I think that was a mistake on the report. But it's he said 100 million for the renovation of the stadium. But also as our own recommendations, we don't have to rely on one stadium now. Let's have another stadium. Wherever we have to build it, let's have another stadium. It will help.
Honorable member, please allow him to proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We cannot rely on one stadium. And this is our own report. I just want to give my say on it. But then also in Brikama, we were in Brikama at the mini stadium. They also said there are challenges the dispute on that mini stadium. Let's try and see how to settle it. A mini stadium for how many years? Now, the Blunda clan are saying that it belongs to them. The committee is saying it belongs to them. Let's see how to address it before it escalates. Honorable Speaker, on that note, I want to submit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Member for Jara West. I now call on the Member for Brikama North and Minority Leader.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I want to join my colleagues to thank the Chairman for the committee for presenting this report to the August Assembly and the entire members of the delegation that went on an oversight across the country to visit the sporting and tourism facilities. Honorable Speaker, as Alan alluded, the essence of site visits is to gather information regarding the respective facilities and then projects and adequately report back to the National Assembly. Make your observations and then the recommendations is important, as Honorable Member for Combo South earlier on indicated. We attack strong resolutions to ensure the implementation of these recommendations. Important as youth and sports tourism facilities, it's high time we take note of all the issues that were highlighted in this report. For the report not to be gathered indoors, as we used to do, but we have to be acting on the reports. Honorable Speaker, let me just note that at Fort Bullen, there is a point that made mention of the relationship between the National Center for Art and Culture and then Fort Bullen, and also to make recommendation for financial motivation, not only limited to Fort Bullen. I just want to take Fort Bullen as an example. These are historic sites that should be preserved, and we cannot preserve if the Ministry or the National Center for Arts and Culture fails to employ and attach people who should be permanently under the payroll of the ministry. It should not be just tourist guides for them to be financially motivated. No. There should be proper management to oversee the place. This should be permanent staff of the ministry or on the National Council for Arts and Culture. If the tourist comes and then give them anything, that be their luck. But there should be permanent staff. And this is not limited to only Fort Bullen. These are sites that we need to preserve. All the sites, they need to attach permanent staffs who should be well paid to ensure that these facilities are preserved. Honorable Speaker, Kundakinde James Island, we should attack very strong recommendation for the preservation of this island. You go to Senegal, the Gore Island is well protected, and now it's a source of earning income for Senegal in terms of tourism. The only island that so far we can boast about that can be source of tourist attraction can be Kunta Kinte Island. you go to that island, who knows in a decade to come, the island will disappear. There should be that strong recommendation for that island to be preserved and protected. Honorable Speaker, there are many areas where challenges are highlighted, but recommendations sometimes will oversight the challenges that are highlighted. I think as honorable members for 𝒂𝒂𝒏 earlier recommended, as a committee, in implementing this report, we'll make sure we look into all the challenges and then try to develop resolution around them to help us in the implementation. Otherwise, we'll not do justice to the facilities that we visited. There are a lot of them. We hear their challenges, but in our recommendations, the recommendation may not address some of the challenges that are noted or are confronted, the institutions are confronted with. At Songhai, the issue of the legal land ownership is noted, and then the committee tend to be aware of the issue, and then we'll ensure that it is resolved. But in the recommendation, we've not indicated as what the committee is recommending for that issue to be resolved. As many other speakers expressed concern on that, I think in as much as government is spending in that facility and which is helping the youth folks as well as agriculture, now the ownership of the center should be established so that whatever investment the government is supposed to be doing is done in the right way and in a manner that is more reliable. Other sporting facilities, yes, as members alluded, you go to most of these facilities where you call them stadia, but you know some will, it's not even stadia, but they are football fields. A lot of investment had been done in those mini stadia, but yet still we cannot categorize them as stadia. I think sometimes what is lacking is the National Sport Council has structures. You have the regional committees. I don't think it is proper for village committees to come up, just go to the minister to tap a project without passing through the district committee and then the regional committee, then the National Sport Council. Each of these committees should have their action plans and their strategic plans. They know which area, according to their strategic plans, where they should have a stadium for that particular area. You come to CRR South. Let me say precisely. CRR South. You have 𝒂𝒂𝒏 struggling with their field, which seem to be the footballing center in that district. You have Ganjambure struggling on their field, which seem to be the capital of that particular area. You have Bansang also struggling. I don't know how it came about for the mini stadium to be constructed in Fulabantang. I have the belief that that will not be the strategic plan of the committee of Lower Fladu West, and I cannot claim that that should be a facility for Lower Fladu West. When we don't have a stadium, a mini stadium, in the whole of CRR South, if you are to identify a mini stadium as a start, it should be at a strategic location. And this should be proposed and recommended by the sports committee from that region. That's why if honorable member for Combo South should say, how are these contracts awarded? The issue is, we have our structures, these are government structures, and we fail to follow those principles to make sure we work in accordance with our laid down structures. If the committee recommended that project in that particular locality, it is the community that is going to take the ownership. The contract cannot be awarded in the absence of the community. If there is any loophole in the manner in which the work is done, of course, that will not come as a surprise to anyone, knowing very well the manner in which the contract was awarded. In the first place, where it is implemented, is it in conformity with the dictate of the community of that area? That is where one can wonder. I think even the committee should also try to establish the circumstance surrounding that, so that tomorrow in future, the Ministry or National Sport Council can be better advised. They cannot just jump and then construct mini stadia in the name of constructing mini stadia. Anywhere, any corner, in the air, in the sky, anywhere. It cannot be like that. They have to be guided, and they should be consulted. You build a stadium at a place, a population of 100 or 1,000 people, you expect that to serve a purpose. You expect the entire region or the entire district to be responding. What is going to be benefit of that stadium? How is that going to replicate, try to promote sport in that rural community? National Sport Council, you have to respect your structures and work with them. When it comes to issues surrounding Brikama Mini Stadium, I have not seen anywhere in the report that indicated disputes surrounding land ownership on sporting facility, except in Brikama. The ministry is aware of this, National Sport Council is aware of this, and no action has taken place yet to address the situation. It is starting in Brikama. If they succeed tomorrow, it's going to continue elsewhere, because football or sport is an enterprise. It's a source of earning income. When Brikama field was not fenced, nobody is talking about the ownership. There is no field in the Gambia where you can say that it belongs to the youths who are custodian of the sport administration or management in those localities. They all belong to our elders. The indigenes, they own the land. And every village you go, you'll find a land, a portion of the land given to the youths for their recreational facilities. These are what we call our football fields, our mini stadia. It happened in Brikama also over 40 years. Brikama Sport Committee, they were given a land for recreation facility. And that's where Brikama have their field called Boxbar. Committees came and committees go over 40 years. It is the community that built the field from crimson fence now to a concrete fence, until to an extent of having standard pavilion that is attracting international matches, dressing room, rated as #1 in the Gambia in our days when I was sport administrator there. Now it is earning income. Those who gave the land are saying it's their land for what they want to benefit. I am not talking about this. It is the report that I'm talking about. And as a member representing the community, I don't think I will do justice if such an issue is raised here. I fail to comment about it. I will not run away from responsibility just to side for a political gain. You need to act. I am an interest party. I will not be part of it. I am only calling on the ministry, the committee, the ministry, National Sport Council to act immediately and address the situation. The youth should have an avenue where they should have their recreation, their sporting activities, and that cannot go without land. They are not saying that it's their land, but they are custodians, and that has been the case for more than 40 years. Why now? If not addressed at Brikama, it can escalate and go elsewhere. We all know Serekunda West, Banjul, Serekunda East. They don't belong to those committees, but they are custodians. Why are those people not claiming ownership, to be claiming funds to be given to them annually or monthly or per match gate takings? But Brikama. The issue has to be added. And the ministry has that history of trying to run away from responsibility. When there are issues, they tend to run away. In my days as sport administrator, they mounted a commission on me, and up to now they are sitting on the report of that commission. This issue is boiling and they are sitting down, keeping quiet. It has to be addressed. The youth should be given their due. It's not happening anywhere. Why should you allow it to happen in Brikama? It is through this getting the income that we get that help us to construct the field to the standard, that help us to have a first division team called Brikama United that has been represented the Gambia in regional competitions. We are able to get so many professional footballers out of that. And you are sitting down for that opportunity to go away. For what? Should we allow that? You want to allow that, you are creating problem in Brikama. We will not sit down and watch for that to happen. It's not going to happen. A word for a wise is enough. On the Independent Stadium, 100 million given to us for renovation. What is the state of the renovation? We need to know. What assessment have we made as a committee on the renovation? We are only told, but what is our assessment? Up to now, we are seeing international matches are not playing at the Independent Stadium. 100 million was given for the renovation. What is happening with the renovation? Yes, there should be general maintenance on the Independent Stadium. Otherwise, one day, we'll have the international matches coming, the stadium will collapse. And we need to work now to avoid that unfortunate thing that is very likely to happen if the Independent Stadium is not generally maintenance. This is not the first time that people have been talking about, and the committee also is coming up with it. The ministry and then the Sport Council should take note, avert calamities before they occur. They need to act before things will happen. You cannot call that an accident. It will be an intentional accident or man-making accident. For how many years we've been talking about the condition of the Independent Stadium? And now we are calling for international. In fact, FIFA is very right. FIFA has just come to save us, to stop international matches. Gambians love football. We have international matches Independence Stadium in that poor condition, it collapsed. We thank FIFA for that. The ministry should act to bring back our football at the field and also to save lives. This is what we need from the ministry. Having made this observation, 𝒂𝒂𝒏, very good. 𝒂𝒂𝒏 is our second capital. No. We have our national capital in Banjul and the regional capital, that's 𝒂𝒂𝒏. We should have best sporting facilities in 𝒂𝒂𝒏. Look at the mini stadium of 𝒂𝒂𝒏. Right now, it's even abandoned for the alternate football field, which should not be the case. We should be very focused and serious if we are to stop rural-urban migration. That's how we should do. Let's try to improve the rural facilities to attract our boys and girls up there, to enjoy those facilities and stay. When my colleagues have the inter-schools athletic championships, sometimes they rotate in the regions 6 and 5. If they do it in Bansan, next is in 𝒂𝒂𝒏. When it's in 𝒂𝒂𝒏, you cannot do it at that mini stadium. But the alternate ground is the St. George's, Nasir or St. George's. When the actual place where we should be the mini stadium. And we are advocating for that one to have the track field so that both athletic and then football can be played, but we are not having that. When there are young talents in URR and CRR, but the facilities are not there. We don't want to have only Independence Stadium, have running tracks. But let us have at least one in 𝒂𝒂𝒏 with running tracks. The big talents can emerge. But that cannot happen when the facilities are not there. So 𝒂𝒂𝒏 mini stadium, just like Farafenye mini stadium, Kauru, I will not call that a mini stadium. I will call Kauru a football field. You will not call that a mini stadium. And they are all designed to be provincial mini stadia. But look at it. I went to Kauru, what is meant to be a football field, but I found people cultivating wonjo there. For what? A football field, you cultivate wonjo? Oh no. No, that's very serious. These are the things that we will be sporting out one by one and make strong recommendations and resolutions as action points to hold the ministry on their neck and ensure that things are done the right way. Our reports now not only going to be gathered indoors. Anything that we pass here, any point issues that are raised here, we'll make sure we act on them. Honorable Chair, this is what we are going to do. I thank you.
May I observe you?
Thank you, Member for Brikama North and Minority Leader. Now I give the floor to the Member for Banjul North.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Don't mind him. He is my neighbor. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Before I start my deliberation, I would just want to bring to the attention of the entire Assembly on the caption that reads on the report that has to do with the report of the Select Committee on Tourism, Arts, Culture, Youth and Sports on its visit to sporting facilities and tourist sites across the country. Across the country. Why I decided to do this is to make things clear here. But before doing that, I will want to take this opportunity to commend the mover of this report, and his entire team for working so hard to cover from KM to Basse and forgetting Banjul. Why I am saying this? I am saying this based on what I've seen on the report, which is indeed a very big concern. Because, like I said, as the caption have highlighted across the country, and not seeing anything about Banjul is a very big surprise to me. And it is indeed something that I want clarity on from the mover of the report. Because talking about sporting facilities, indeed Banjul, we are having a lot of challenges. And I will want to make it clear to each and every member here, as I am talking to you right now, the only city in this country, we call it the seat of power, the capital city of this country, is not having a standard basketball lawn, which is very unfortunate. You go all over the world, all the cities are having standard, even indoors, basketball lawns. Banjul don't even have one. Not to talk of a volleyball lawn. And I think these are very big concerns, because we're talking about the young people. The young people are doing sports in this country. And I will always keep on saying this. The young people are the citadels of the nation. We are the cream of the society. We are the current and the future leaders of this country. So if we are not taken off seriously, more particularly from the most important house, that is the Assembly, in terms of making inquiries about our challenges, to make sure that we progress in life, to develop this country, I don't see us going anywhere. So in that regard, I will put it to the mover of this motion to consider Banjul. Banjul is in need, more particularly the young people that are in sports. These are facilities that they can make good use of to make ends meet as far as helping their families are concerned. Another thing has to do with the issue of contracts, which is indeed a very big concern. And I believe as part of our oversight functions as National Assembly members, it's very important for us to engage the executive. Let them know who they give in these contracts. We have seen so many contracts being awarded to people. But when it comes to fulfilling the duration as far as the completion of these contracts are concerned, it is always a problem. And they will always come up with excuses. And like I always say, success will only happen when our dreams are bigger than our excuses. And I believe as honorable members, it is upon ourselves to make sure that we do what we're supposed to do to address the needs and the concerns of the people. Because that is why we are here. But in that regard, I think when the mover of this report take over again, he will be able to tell us why they didn't visit Banjul. And if they visit Banjul, what was the problem that they could not even feature a single facility as far as Banjul is concerned in this important report. I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, the member for Banjul North. I now invite the member for Choswang to take part in this.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I also join my colleagues to thank the chair of the Committee on Youth and Sports, Tourism and Culture. Honorable Speaker, I know it's a committee, but I think the committee is big, and I might suggest, if possible, to be given 2 chairs, one on youth and sports and the one on tourism and culture. At least that will help them to do their oversight function properly.
because all these ministries are big ministries. Honorable Speaker, let me start with contracts. Everybody is talking about contracts, the way they are awarded, whom to be awarded to. When it comes to ministries, I think we have an agency in this country that we are trying to neglect, and I think it should be in the forefront. When it comes to contract, they can manage contracts for you, and they can implement it the way you want it. That's GAMWorks. If all these projects were given back to GAMWorks would have been the proper body to manage all this contract the way it should be. Because with GAMWorks, you must do the needful. You must go through the proper tendering. They evaluate, and they come out with final solutions. And once the contracts are awarded, there's a monitoring team that monitors the contracts, with consultants that who are also attached to those contractors. And what are those consultants? What are their roles with those contractors? Is to monitor and then supervise those contractors. If you default, they do the needful. Either terminate or they put you on the first account. But if the ministries are to take care of contracts on their own, I think that's why we are into these troubles. But if at all these contracts we are given to GAMWorks to manage the contracts for government, I think we will not have been into this trouble that we are facing today. Because it's for a long time now, since 2019 per se, contracts were signed for a period of 6 months, and up till now, we don't know the level of these contracts, on the level of the progress of work currently. What we are seeing is, they are at this stage, some are being sent to legal for advice. What are you advising? If somebody defaults, what's needed to be done? When a contract is given, you are also bound with something. You either go to the bank to look for a bond. The bank guarantees you through a bond. If you default, now between the contractor and the bank, but normally the contractor and the client. But if you leave it as it is, it's now between the contractor and the ministry. Then there what comes in. You negotiate. But if the bank gives you its bond, if the bank guarantees you on your advance payment as a bond, the bank is liable to do the needful. If you are terminated, it's the bank that follow you up to pay their money. Because they are the one who guarantee you, because the bank refund back the money to the client. So I think, my Honorable Speaker, we should look at it as a parliament to see what is right and start telling ministries, if at all you don't have units who can manage projects for you, give them back to GAMWorks to manage it for you and do what is right. If it's happened, we will not be into this trouble. Because monies are being spent, up till now we don't know where we are. We're talking about the stadium of $100 million. We don't know the state of work. But if you have the agency who will give you a report on what is happening, you have the monitoring team of the parliament that goes on the ground to monitor those projects. And whilst you are monitoring, you know the level that you are. And who do you consult? It's not the contractor. You go straight to the consultant or the agency that is being contracted to take care of the responsibility. So let's try to look at things and shift it to GAMWorks or any other agency that can take care of it, to take care of those contracts for us, than we, the ministries, or the ministries take it on their own. Honorable Speaker, coming to tourism in this country, I think what we always talk about Gambia, if you told tourists are coming here, what are they coming here for? Of more they say the sun. And what are the other areas, our historical areas that we need to go and visit? But going through the report, it means we are losing most of them. If you look at Kunta Kinte, 90 or at least half of it, let's say 50% of it, is nowhere to be seen. I think if we need to look at ways and means of preserving these areas. They took up for blend, it needs what? An area to preserve the Fort Blend. They are currently on renovation. But are they, what step are they taking to either create a sea defense to preserve the area? We need to look at it properly. What should we do? Let's government start thinking outside the box. They don't only think of what is coming in. After what is coming in, what should we do with it? I think it's very important to work on those areas. Coming to in the report, Mr. Chair, I have not seen anything about the river transport. I don't know whether you fear to go join a boat and go by the river to Basse to know what is happening in the riverline area.
This is a tourist catch area. I think we need to look at it properly to see what is possible and to see how can we go back to river transport. It's important because it attracts tourists also. What can we do in our own rivers? What can we do to bring back river transport in this area? These are tourist areas that we think that we can make resources out of it, that we think that we can develop as far as Gambia is concerned. Because we only have few areas that we think that we can make income out of it. So, Chair and his team, by the way, continue for you, and then we can cross the country. We can go around the country to see what is possible around the area. Honorable Speaker, I think we always talk about land ownership. The honorable member for Birmingham has made it very clear. I think we should take things seriously, because all of this stadium or all this football field that you are seeing might be claimed tomorrow if we give Birmingham the people who are claiming ownership, if they are given the right of ownership. All lands in this country, all football fields in the country people will start claiming ownership. Because any area that you have seen in this country as a football field or as a mini stadium might once belong to one historical family. To say it belongs to the Sarkundas because we were once time the owners of this farm, it was part of our farm, now you want to claim ownership. As anywhere you go in this country, people start claiming lands. So I think we just put a stop to it. As far as they always say, all lands belongs to government. So if all lands belongs to government, I think that's not really an issue of a football field where people will start to claim ownership or start to claim pay or income out of it. Honorable Speaker, I will also want to, the chairman also to help me of one thing. When it comes to 𝒂𝒂𝒃𝒃, that's the revenue being collected from the area is being divided into different areas. One to the VDC, to the family, and also to the two alcalos. What is government benefiting out of from that area? Are they having a small share for government to say we need some renovation works that needs to be done? So let's look at it properly to see what can government benefit. On the Shanghai project, Honorable Speaker, I have seen that they have challenges that they face on manpower. We had youths who were trained, sent to Benin in all the areas that they hired from this Shanghai project. All these areas that they hired, youths were trained on these areas. Agroforestry, animal production, you name them. They were well trained, but where are they? They are in this country sitting doing nothing. Go back to those youths, engage them to come and take care of this chairman project. They are our own youths. We send them for training. They came and they were all certificated. They are qualified to take care of every area. But if you want to bring a foreign guy to come and take care of chairman for us, I think the reason why these people were sent outside makes no sense. They were sent to go and learn. They were trained, certificated to say they were qualified to take care of things on their own. Why do we want to leave them to go like that? Let's go back and get these young people to engage them on this chairman project. Honorable Speaker, coming to the contract that I had of the ecologists, there were 5. But I think in the report I only got 1 was connected to Lair Group. And we had issue on those ecologists because I think they were to a level of a court level. But the last time the minister came here, they said that the issue is resolved. But all the other 4, at what stage are they now? At what stage are those ecologists with regards to construction? Because I think since the time that they were given up till now, they should be at the finishing stage now, or they might even should have been at the handing over stage. So at what stage are they now? I want the chairman to help me on that, and then so that we know where to take it from. Honorable Speaker, I think I will not waste much time. I will also still maintain my request on the ministries to please start considering gang work so that we get away from these contract problem issues. They will take care of it, they will manage it for you, and you'll just be there just to spend money. At times we blame contractors as to say they are not doing what is right. But my question is, during the implementation of the project, the client, where they also paying the contractor at the way they should be paid. Were they paying them as they should be paid? Hope they were not delayed in payment. Hope they were not receiving money as they should receive. It's a question that we need to clear. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Joshua. I now give the floor to the member for 𝒘𝒄𝒄𝒏𝒆𝒍.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. And I thank the Honorable Chair for this particular committee for bringing us this comprehensive report. First of all, I want to beg honorable members, if you are part of a committee, you went around with the committee to this project site, you came together, write a report, validate this report together, you now came to the plenary and want to present a parallel or opposing view to what you guys validate together. It's only going to waste the time of honorable members, because you cannot say anything that is going to go contrary to what your committee agreed when you were part of that validation. Now, for me, I don't know why the report failed to indict the Honorable Minister for Youth and Sport. He should have been indicted, and the recommendation should be his removal from office for presiding over several contract management and administration. And in the full disclosure of facts, there is no ministry in this country that is found wanting of bad contract management and administration like the Minister of Youth and Sports. I think the minister should be indicted. Now, that being said, there is 3 projects. I'm going to talk about these 3 projects: the Eco Lodge, the mini stadium, and finally the Independence Stadium. For me, I don't know why the ministry is always found wanting of bad contract administration and management. Because when you set out your bidding documents, you put all the criteria, either technical or financial criteria, that you send out to contractors to respond. And these contractors must respond to this document technically or financially to be responsive to this your criteria that you set out in your bidding document, so that this contract is going to be awarded to them, so that we are not going to see any failure. So first of all, the procurement process. I don't know what was the procurement process, and also the evaluation process. When the ministry sat together, your team of experts evaluated these contractors based on their performance, either financial or technical specifications, responsive to your bidding document. How were these contracts awarded? I followed this contract at my personal level. I even spoke to the consultant, and I spoke to most of the local contractors that these contracts were awarded. Some did well, actually, but what I don't understand, you have a legal, how do I call it, a relationship with these contractors, and at the end of the day, you cannot go to the court. You have a legal relationship with a contractor. In case the contractor did not perform, or you don't perform, you should go to the court and let the court redress. I don't know why the ministry is insisting still they cannot go to the court. What I found out from the consultant was the force majeure part of the contract, unforeseen circumstances. Now, what if that happened? I asked the payment, the disbursement plan. You disburse a contract up to 80% or up to 90% when the contractor did not deliver up to 50%. Why? What went wrong with the interim payment certificates that the consultant was preparing to the ministry so that the ministry can pay these contractors? Was the ministry paying attention to the interim certificates that the consultant prepared before you pay these contractors? Because if you deliver, if you pay 50% of the contract and the contractor fail at that percentage, I can understand. But you pay a contractor over 80% 80% when the contractor did not even perform, up to 20%. I don't know how this happened. That need to be very, very, very clear. This is why I want to move a motion before this National Assembly, and I want us to accept this so that we can scrutinize this contract very, very well. Number one, the request of quotation or proposal. We want the Ministry of Youth to send us this document, request of quotation or proposal. We also want the Ministry to send us the procurement process that leads to the award of this contract. We also want the Ministry to give us the contract documents between the contractor and the Ministry. The contract document between your Ministry and the contractors. We also want the contract document between the Ministry and the consultant. Because you hire a consultant, you employ a consultant. The consultant was not doing his work. In fact, sometimes I may not even blame the Ministry for I will blame the Ministry per se for not monitoring what the consultant is doing. But the consultant should have been very active on site before you guys disburse the money. So this is why we are very curious to see the contract document between your Ministry and the consultant. And also the bill of quantity. We also want to see the bill of quantity and the design for that matter. You said you have sent a letter to Ministry of, Justice for legal opinion. We may also want to see that legal opinion that the Ministry of Justice wrote to you guys. And all these documents should be submitted to the Joint Committee of Youth and Sport and Monitoring. If the National Assembly member can accept that, let this document be submitted to the Ministry of Sports and the project monitoring and implementation of all government projects, so that we can further advise on these three aspects of the projects. For the eco-lodges, we said here before the matter is sub judice, it is before the courts. I think I would want to establish first whether it is still before the courts before I can further, deliberate on that, because there was a serious procurement process malpractice as far as the award of that project is concerned. How can somebody bid for 18 million, somebody who bid up to 24 million is awarded the contract? The person bid for 18 million is telling the government of the Gambia, save 7 million for your other projects. So I don't know why that malpractice. Somebody bid lower and has been responsive to all your technical financial criteria.
Observation.
You went and award the contract to somebody who bid for over 17 million excess. I think this is serious malpractice, and I will also ask the National Assembly for us to request all those documents so that we can do the needful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, member for Latrikunda. May I now give the floor to the member for Sabah-Sanjal.
Speaker,
yeah.
I just want to observe because Honorable Sanyang came up with a motion.
The member for Janjambure, he is not on the floor, so you can't observe him. He concluded. He has not moved any motion. Thank you.
Of course, I do move a motion.
No, he did.
He did not.
He did.
Motion.
Yes, for this documents to present.
The member for Janjambure, please. Please. There is no motion before this floor. Now I give the floor to the member for...
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable member for Latrikunda.
I already moved the motion for the documents.
Point of order. Honorable Speaker, point of order.
That was my motion.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
If you say it has not been moved here, that's a misstatement. I already moved a motion, and I'm sure we are...
Honorable Speaker, point of order.
All the details and explanation when I was moving the motion.
Honorable Speaker,
so
point of order.
That a motion was not moved here.
No. Honorable member, can you please...
Point of order.
Yes, the member for Sabah-Sanjal.
Honorable Speaker, the member said he moved a motion. And according to Standing Order 52, under notice of motion, notice of a motion shall be given by being handed in writing to the table office not less than 5 clear days before the sitting at which it is intended to be debated. So I don't think the table office was noticed of this motion that he... Yeah, even if you go to motion without notice, you must meet certain criteria, and you have not even met single one of those criteria.
Honorable
Speaker, I beg to move.
I still insist on my motion, either to be rejected or accepted by the National Assembly. That is their foot to do. But my motion, I'm still standing on my motion.
Honorable Speaker, I think according to the standing orders, if a member raises an order from the standing order, you allow the Speaker to rule on it before you intervene again.
Are you doing that?
But Saba, you are giving the floor, Saba. Take the floor and then continue.
Please, order. Honorable members, please be tolerant, allow members to express themselves. The member for Sabah-Sanjal, point of order sustained. You may go ahead and continue to participate in the debate.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, my motion.
Honorable Speaker, I think I will first want to say
you put my motion before the National Assembly members, please. Honorable Speaker, I think that is not even your discretion to
coming up with
rule
a wonderful
motion. To reject a motion. The motion is rejected by the National Assembly, not the Honorable Speaker, please.
Honorable Speaker, I want to say a very big thank you.
The member for Sabah-Sanjal, please sit down. Which motion?
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, member for.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I just want to assist the member for Latrikunda. You have all the power. The committee have all the power to request the document. If you request the document, the Assembly will make sure that the document will be produced to the committee. I think you could have used that strategy. Just request the document. You have the power to request any document you want. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Nyamina Dankunku. In fact, in his submission, he falls sort of moving a motion. And he said he wanted to move a motion. And he said, but he want the department concerned to submit those documents to a joint committee of this monitoring government project and the youth and sport. This is a report tabled by the Select Committee on Youth, Sport, Tourism, Arts and Culture. And the government Committee on Government Monitoring of Government Projects also, they have the same rights and privilege as per the Constitution and also the standing orders to embark on monitoring government project. In fact, I believe they embarked on a tour earlier on. They have the same powers as the Honorable Member for Nyamina Dankunku indicated to go on a tour, to monitor government projects and present their report. And I find it inappropriate to say that based on the report of the Select Committee on Youth and Sport, while participating in the debate, that they should submit those documentation to both committees. Halifa here. Honorable, please don't use your mic.
My book, let it not stay long. I have my book. No, I know where I did it. 53. 51.
Thank you very much, honorable members. As I indicated earlier on, the honorable member tries to, in his intervention, to present a picture that he wants to move a motion for those documents that he indicated to be submitted to a joint committee of the Youth and Sport and Monitoring of Government Project. And as per our records, there is no such joint committee of this assembly. So therefore, that is not appropriate. And motions with notice must be a substantive motion. And a motion also without notice is subject to the Speaker's approval. So based on 53, 52, we have not met those requirements. And I hereby reject his motion. Thank you. The Honorable
Speaker.
Honorable, you.
There is no joint committee anywhere in the National Assembly. We always create the joint committee. So don't say there is no joint committee before this National Assembly. Joint committees are created.
Honorable, you cannot use the mic if I don't permit you. Please take your seat. Honorable member, please take your seat. It's the ABC or the Committee of Selections that determined the joint committee. Please take your seat. ABC. May I now give the floor to the member for Sabasanjar.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I will not keep you long. I just want to say a very big thank you to the committee chair for reporting before this assembly on the report of the Public Enterprise Committee on on the report of the Select Committee on Tourism, Arts, Culture, Youth and Sports, and also to thank the general membership for also participating in their activities accordingly. Honorable Speaker, what I have not seen in the report is an engagement between the committee and what you call Gambia Wrestling Federation. You know, I have been saying this time and again that we have to understand that in the Gambia we also have our traditional culture, which we have to embrace to sell to other countries. We have seen our neighboring countries, Senegal, doing well when it comes to wrestling. And if you look at it in the Gambia, many of our youths are engaged in wrestling competition. And if you look at it under their report, some of the challenges that are faced by the the Independent Stadium. They said they have no wrestling ground and its sustainability. Of course, we have been seeing it that, you know, whenever they have this wrestling competition, they always use West, or they will be using East, those mini stadiums at Buvazon and also at Westfield, which is known as West and East mini stadium. I think it is very important we also start thinking of how, to embrace our own traditional culture, which is wrestling. We can sell it out to other countries, and it is also an income generation for us. In our neighboring country, Senegal, they have their own stadium, which is only meant for wrestling. And we also have to start thinking in that way to make sure that we have a unique stadium meant only for wrestling. Recently, we have seen that, according to the Federation, over 300 youth have already registered with them, and they are also gaining a lot out of that. So I am encouraging the sport committee to engage them to make sure that at least the issue of wrestling is also looked at and taken care of, because most of our youths are now interested on that. And it is our local sports. Myself, I don't watch football. I'm more interested in wrestling than football. So I will encourage you to also engage them, because it will also promote our culture. Somebody made mention of preserving our cultural heritages. We have ratified an instrument which was brought by the Ministry of Tourism in the instrument on preserving over cultural heritage. I think the committee should also engage them to see how far they have gone with that, because it was passed before the National Assembly. In a nutshell, I want to say that, let us invest also on razzling. We also look at the funding aspect of it. Obviously, we know the ministry is constrained with funding. Lots of these donor agents that are coming, they are more concentrated on other sectors like health and agriculture, and not the ministry. And if you talk about, let's say, a space, being a problem, we should not always concentrate on centralizing our sporting activities in the Combo and in the West Coast region, as I always see. If a particular funding is coming, looking for a piece of land, which is a difficulty in Combo, why should we allow that funding to go just because we don't have a piece of land in the Combos or in the greater Banjul areas? We should start thinking of decentralizing it. We can go to other areas like LRR, North Bank, and CRR to make sure that we don't lose those opportunities. Not only to concentrate on a particular place, that if we don't have it in Combo, we are losing that funding. I am not agreeing to that. If you come to Sabasanjal, we have enough space. We can give you a huge land which you can use and build as a mini stadium, and it's an income generation for us, because if a game is being played at Sabasanjal and people have to transport from Combos using the ferry to go there, it's also one way of generating income for the ministry. So we should start thinking of these kind of things, and not only to concentrate on the on West Coast, that this funding is coming. If we don't have it in Combo, or if we don't have it in Banjul, we cannot have this stadium built. Come to us, we have the land, we can give it to you. And I am hoping that next time the committee, you have to go to Sabasanjal to engage also the youth there, to make sure that you look at the affairs of the youth. Bring all the stakeholders together. Don't only visit the sites. It is also important that you consult the district youth chairpersons and the regional youth chairperson, to make sure you engage them. They will tell you, the hard fact and the difficulties that they are facing, and the needs of the public. I think the ministry is facing so many financial difficulties, but and we should also be thinking of that. They are responsible for almost 64% of the society is under this ministry. So we need to think about how to empower them and then provide them with more funding to make sure that they look at the activities of the youth. Thank you so much. With those simple remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit.
Thank you, member for Sabasanjal. I'm not sure it's about 2:45. It is a good time for us to break for lunch and prayer, maybe for 45 minutes, and resume. So suspend. Is that okay? Yes. Yeah, I hereby the House is suspended for 45 minutes.
Anyway, we are going for break. We are coming back again the next 45 minutes. Okay. Bita break on benala again. Nyato demanding. Ñu ngi dem ci break. Ñu ñëwaat ci kanam tuuti. Ci Q&A Camera official. We are in the National Assembly. Follow us anytime, anytime. Just follow us here. Bye.